there was a lot of talk about the running game being a focus during the bye week, and to do what you guys did. Were there many changes during the bye week, or was it mostly just getting better at what you guys did?
Well, no, not changes, but we got to be an offense that whatever the defense allows us to do, we got to be able to do, whether that be running or pass. And I would say we just focused on what we did well, and because it wasn't like a significant amount of carries difference. Trey just had more yardage and LT and those guys and Rodney. So it was more just focusing on what we can do, giving them a focused assignment and working on what we're going to call. And Trey did a good job. Receivers did a good job on the edges. I mean, just focusing on whatever they're allowing or giving up, we got to be able to do it no matter what part of it is. And I think that's just been the growth of our offense, because at one point, if one of those things didn't go, we lost. And now we're being able to find those at space and yardage wherever it need be. But it was good to see Trey get going. But remember from the past, I never had any worry that it was going to be fine as we kept getting better toward the season.
The rotating of the guys up front, that was something you guys obviously planning going into the season. How much of it is a present moment, this certain game, this certain situation? How much of it is planning for the future, just having guys ready throughout the course of the season where you don't have any more off weeks left and you got to grind out?
All of it is. I don't like. We got some guys that can go in there and help us win games, and I don't want to limit just because of just numbers. So we have more than 5 that can help us win games. And also, the matchups do come into account sometimes, but health, I believed I had 8 guys that can go in the game and help us win a game. And I didn't want to limit them and say, well, you got to beat that guy out. No, man, I can get you in there in certain situations that can help us out and also continue to build that depth. But no, it's already pre-planned when we go. It was good to get Rob back out there. We had him on a play count. But, not just one factor in determining when I rotate the O-line.
Trey had always a good day running, but he credited the offensive line, but also Keon Coleman had some key blocks. What did you see in the blocking that worked so well that may have not been working in previous games? Yeah, well, Keon, he was at the point of attack of a lot of the long runs, which we wanted to give him credit because he takes ownership in that too. And Johnny, who loves to block, and all those guys, man. Even we gave Jakai the point of attack on the slip screens. The first play of the game when we threw it to the tight end, he had to have 2 wonderful blocks on the perimeter. That's how we started the game. I mean, you got to be a complete receiver, and that's what we talked about with Keon. He can do it all. And we don't have to limit when he's at the point of attack on a run or catching or anything like that. But I don't think there was a significant difference of what we did or how we executed it. Guys are getting better as the season goes, which you have to do that. You have to use the practices during the season to keep improving. But also, Trey's fast. Once he get out in the open, we can get him clear to the second level, he can go.
Jack.
Jordan mentioned on Saturday that one of the biggest focuses for you guys has been playing consistently and carrying momentum throughout the game. The first quarter that you guys had really strong, and then into the second and into the third. What's key in making sure that you guys are working towards playing that complete game? Yeah,
he's a real conference opponent, so we always talk about even before the game. There's always going to be a shift in momentum. There's always going to be that they make a play or we make a mistake, or a lot of drives we start on, we got a holding or a false start or snap infraction with Mo. So it was more of like, all right, these things are going to happen. How's you going to be your response? But the constant pursuit of that perfect game is what keeps the standard the standard, not basing it off the result. And that's always been the expectation with us from Coach Norvell. So we're always going to have that high pursuit of that perfect game. And then we'll come back and say, well, it ain't never going to be perfect. But we're always going to choose our best. And whatever the result is out there, our best, we're fine with those results. But, we're looking to respond to adversity, play our best game, make sure the standard is the standard, because that keeps the expectations of what we need to be in this program.
Corey?
There was a play, first or second drive, 3rd and 11, where he hits Morlock, probably 4 yards short of the line, but it looks like Jordan throws to the shoulder to turn him away from the sideline, knowing that he had room there. Yep. Is that what he did, and is that the details that maybe these veteran, really good quarterbacks do that maybe other quarterbacks don't? Like, he sees that if he throws it, if he leads Morlock, he's leading him out of bounds. So he throws it a little bit behind him to make him turn and get the first down.
Yeah, Jordan can locate the ball, and he understands coverage. He understands when it's good to take the sack. Because he's done a great job of protecting the football beyond that. But no, I think he was rolling to the left on that play. which is always difficult with a quarterback who's right-handed, but he's able to still throw it accurate and lead the ball to the receiver, and also take what the defense was giving him in a long yardage situation. Now, we have a system where we know if we're going to go or not, and we let him know what's the situation, whether we're going to go for it on fourth down and things of that sort. We talk about sequencing, but no, man, Jordan is smart. He can locate the football. He understands when, we always talk about we want to end the drive with the score or a kick. Sometimes protecting, like if they come off, let's say we not score, we say good job owning the football that we didn't turn it over. I mean, he understands all of that, man. He's played a lot of football, so locating the football, understanding the situation, knowing we're going to sequence the calls, understanding not to make a bad play a bad day. And sometimes that's not seen because you're like, oh, why he did this? Like, no, I mean, I'm glad he did that. Sometimes a punt ain't a bad play, but no, Jordan can do it.
I feel like we ask you about him every week, but Darius stepping in at left tackle with Bless out. I know he's struggled some at left tackle some in the past. I mean, it seemed like there was no problem at all, and then even hopping over to right tackle. I mean, what's it say about him? I mean, we've talked about how he plays every position and can play every position, but it seems like he's this year played 3 positions at a pretty high level for you.
Yeah, man, I trust Darius, man, to go in there and operate however he need be, and he's a staple in our room because I get to use him as an example of a guy that can go in any place he's needed and understand the game plan and still execute at a high level. He's always still in constant competition. He's a part of the rotation too, because we built a unit where, it's the unit playing the game, not just these individuals on the field. We're trying to go beat you with the O-line room instead of just 2 O-linemen and that sort. So he understands that and he embodies that. So with him understanding that, with those older guys like Rob and Mo and of course Darius, who are like the foundation of the room, if they're in there unselfish, understand what has to be the standard and things like that. When other people come in, that just sets the stage for it. But Darius is a good player. He can play all 5 positions. I'm glad we got him. He can rotate at all 5, which gives us depth within depth, and we fully trust him when he's out there.
Coach Norvell said that Syracuse's defense can bring pressure from basically any spot in the field. When teams are like that, how do you prepare for that? Like, what are the keys, or how do you prepare? There's not necessarily a normal game plan.
No, I mean, first it's still, dictating what you want to do. We still want to be who we are and do what we do. We just want to make sure we're not putting our kids in a bad situation based upon what they do on defense. But I mean, the last years we played Syracuse, they've been pretty consistent in causing a lot of chaos. I mean, they're top 10 in the country in tackle for loss because they can create so many twists and different pressures and keep you on your edge. I mean, they want to dictate to you what they want you to do, and we got to find that balance of not putting our guys in a bad situation, but also not taking ourselves of what we do well. And we got to find that. I mean, it's still early in the game plan. We're still searching for those answers, but that's the balance of it. But they do a phenomenal job of dictating and make sure you can't tell what they're doing. They don't give away tips. So I mean, it's going to be a unique challenge, but we got to make sure we have our identity on display also.
You said last week, I think you did say it, you want to go maybe a little bit faster, a little more up-tempo. The first half especially, it's hard to go up-tempo when you hit a 63-yard run and an 85-yard run, granted, but did you like the tempo and the amount of plays and the amount of execution that started those first 3 drives, how quick it was going?
Yeah, good coaches always say that, to play with tempo is earned. You've got to be able to get some chunk yards or some first downs to be able to call tempo plays. And if you're not doing that, you're not going to be able to play with tempo. So what I wanted to refer to is we have to earn the right to do that. We got to have some efficiency on first down, some efficiency. We have to convert on third down. So that shows our percentage on third down conversions helped us play faster because we had more opportunities to tempo and keep our guys on the field and maybe dictate some plays. So as we continue to get efficient with early down success, and also, once we get past the scripted plays and things like that, we have to earn that right. And I thought guys did a better job of earning that so we could play with some tempo and keep some guys out there. But I mean, game 5, we got to continue to get better. All of these games are, continual process to find that best game or to just continue to fight to get better. And I believe our guys are doing that. We're getting better as we go.
Chris?
Continuing on what Ira asked about Rocky Long defense, what does he do differently than Syracuse has done in the past? Also, anybody in their personnel that just flashes on film stands out to you?
Rocky is the inventor of this defense. I mean, he established it. So everybody else do a good job, but he is he's not a Carmen. He is the one. He is the originator. So he understands the problems. He knows how to. There's nothing you really can show him that he hadn't seen or had an answer for. So we got to be efficient and on time. But no, it's not a garbage defense. People think they're just doing everything. No, it's very planned and coordinated, and they're understanding with back alignment, tight ends, and things of this sort now. So if you look at it, it can be, oh man, they're everywhere, but no, it's calculated, and it's coached, and it's coordinated. So we got to do a good job of making sure we're not, giving up any tackles for loss and being on point, and being efficient on early downs, and also on third downs because they're getting a lot of sacks too. So we got to be on point.
On that 2-point conversion by Courtney, how much is the offense coordinator? How much say do you get to, when you guys get to go for 2, and then what do you see on the play? And obviously, Coach mentioned you guys practiced it and were ready for that situation. What do you see in that play to make it work?
It's my guy JP, man. He does a wonderful job with the special teams, and Coach Norvell also has his hand in it because he has to decide whether we're going to do it or not. But all of those things, man, they seem so unique, but like Coach said, we run them every day. I mean, we have so many of those type of deals that we install and have ready because you never know, especially with the rules and overtime with all 2-point plays and different things, and you got to be ready for all situations. So we had the utmost confidence, and it was very similar to Oklahoma when we had the 2-point conversion versus them with the field goal team. So, we have a bunch of that stuff stored up, and we don't want to make those unique or trick plays. We want to make those regular plays. So we practice them a ton, and so we got quite a few in the tank if we need them.
I know identity is one of those buzzwords when it comes to what this offense is, what you guys could be. I think through 4 games, you guys quite literally run the same amount of running plays as you did pass plays. This past weekend, you guys ran kind of out of nowhere. Is the fact that can your identity be that you don't have one and just seemingly you're going to figure out a way where you're Saturday just to make it work?
Yeah. Well, I would say that it's we can do what needs to be done to have good offense. And in the past, I don't know if I could have came up here and said the same thing, but if we need to throw the ball, we can. If we need to run it, we will. If Jordan needs to create, he will. I was talking to Johnny. I would have never guessed that Game 5 would be his first touchdown catch. I would have never guessed that this season. But that's the unique part of having the weapons we have, the uniqueness. Whenever the ball is going to somebody, one other person, somebody else is not getting it who's also a special dynamic player. So, we try to pride ourselves in our identity, meaning whatever we need to be done, we have the athletes to do it. And our identity is also going to be, we always want to establish the run, but we also want to say, hey, if this is not working, we're not going to just give in. We want to make sure we got dynamic playmakers on the edge. We got them in the middle. With Jaheim, who had big games, and Morlock, this game, who's a big key piece to us. We hadn't said his name in Trey. So it's the whatever needs to be done. We got the skilled players to do it.
We'll go 2 more up front, Jared.
Coach, you've had some moments of absolute explosiveness on offense, and then almost immediately it can go quiet for a while. I'm sure you've done a lot of analysis of that. Throughout the season, have you determined anything that is the cause or things you're working on to be able to perform at a more consistent level?
Absolutely. Goes back to what I talked about earning the right to play with tempo, because we looked at our play counts during the bye week and we wanted to get that play up. That comes from converting on third down. That's a direct reflection of how we convert on third down, our early down, first and second down success, and also penalties. This is the first game we had as many false starts as we had, snap infractions, holding calls on big runs, which limit you and things like that. So I think this particular game came down to every drive we stalled or didn't do, there was a penalty involved. And we went backwards and got us off clock and maybe, didn't convert an explosive and things like that, so we couldn't sequence. And so there's many other factors, but it's all self-inflicted. And so we have to study, if we're not converting on third down, if we're getting penalties, we can become one of the worst offenses in America very quickly. So we have to make sure we understand that, we're explosive, but we got to be on point.
Last one, Kurt.
You talked about Kyle Morlock. I know Coach said Jaheim was a little limited, kind of able to only play a couple plays for you Saturday, but it seemed like Kyle and even Marquise really took advantage of that. I guess what's the benefit of having a tight end group that deep?
Absolutely. And Jaheim he ain't never limited, but we do a good job of protecting players from themselves. And sometimes that's a little bit of a battle because they all have that itch when they're on the sideline. Everybody wants to do it, but we got to make sure we have enough where you don't have to go out there and further hurt yourself. So you'll be fine, But no, Cal, first play of the game, he was the first target of it, and then we had a screen to Marquise, who did a really good job on it. So, and those guys have done it in games before. I'm going back and watching the old games. Marquise has made some big plays in his program, the winning touchdown against Oklahoma. he's made some really good plays. I've seen Cal do it in practice multiple times, so we trust him. And you still got Preston Daniels, who's done a really good job of making plays. Even I remember a play popped up against North Carolina when he had a first down conversion in 2020. I mean, we got some guys that can do it. So I like to have those good offense problems. You know, when I say good offense problems, that means there's always somebody left out. There's always somebody that gets performed. But in-house in our own network, we understand that, man, it can be anybody's day. And make sure you support your teammates. But nah, I mean, that tight end room is really, really good. And I even look toward the future. I'm looking at those guys. We had the young guys scrimmage on Sunday, and those young guys are showing up. With Jackson West being able to get back healthy, and Powers and Jarrell and those guys, I'm excited for that room.
Good. Thanks, good.
Thank y'all.
Thanks.